I'm Hannah. I'm a tutor at Sky Academy. We are looking at financial maths within the Year 11 standard course, and we're looking at budgeting and household expenses. This comes under MSF1. So we're going to have a look at purchasing a car. So we know that a car is not an investment. Every year that you own a car, it decreases in value. So say you buy a car worth $20,000. When you go to sell it 5 years later, it might only be worth $8,000. So we know that it is a percentage decrease. The car is decreasing in value. So we're going to have a look at this question where we're going to use percentage decrease. So a truck is sold for $19,000. So when they sell the car, they're going to get $19,000. However, it was brought 1 year earlier for $25,000. Find the percentage decrease. So we know that when we bought the car, we bought it for $25,000 and it has decreased in 1 year to $19,000. So to figure out percentage decrease, you have to do the difference between the two values over the initial value, and you times it by 100 to get the percentage. So if we sub the values that we know into this equation, then we will get the percentage decrease. So the difference between the two values will be 25,000 minus 19,000. And our initial value is 25,000. What we initially start with, or what we purchased the car for initially, was $25,000, and we'll times that by 100. So that then goes to $6,000 because 19,000, the difference between 19,000 and 25,000 is 6,000. And then if we times that by 100, it will leave us with 24%. So a car will almost always be a percentage decrease. The only way it will be a percentage increase if it's a vintage car and it was purchased in many years ago in the 1900s for $200, and now it's sold as a vintage car to go in museums or something for $2,000. So then there'll be a percentage increase. But 99% of the time, it will always be a percentage decrease because a car is a decreasing asset. So let's have a look at some more questions to do with cars. So when you're buying a car on finance, it means you're borrowing money or you're paying the car off over time. And so you're not paying it off in one go, you're paying it in repayments. And so the total cost of paying off a car is the deposit, the initial payment of the car, plus the repayments. And the repayments, the total repayments is the repayment times the number of repayments. So if you have 24 repayments to do, so monthly over 2 years, which is 24, and your repayment costs $100, then your total repayment is just going to be 24 times 100. Just see how much you'll pay in total for all the repayments. And the interest paid is going to be the total cost that it cost you to purchase this car minus the sale price. So the total cost is where you, it's the deposit plus the repayment. So it's how the total cost is the one that you pay over time, whereas the sale price is if you paid it upfront. So if you paid the full price of the car on the day that you bought the car, then that would be the sale price. But if you do a repayment method, it's going to cost more, and you're going to have to pay interest because you're not paying it straight up. You're borrowing time to get the money to be able to repay it back. So let's have a look at doing an example. So a 4-wheel drive vehicle is for sale at $45,000. So that's the sale price. Finance is available at $5,000 deposit and monthly repayments of $1,470 for 5 years. So what is the total of the repayments? So we know that the repayments are $1,470, and we're doing it monthly for 5 years. So if you want to write it monthly for 5 years, you've got to figure out how many months are in 5 years. And if we know there are 12 months in a year, if we do 1,470 times 12 times 5, that's going to give us the total of the repayments for monthly for 5 years. And when you put that into your calculator, you should get an answer of $88,200. So we know already that that is a lot more than just paying for it up front, and we haven't even added the deposit yet. So question B says, what is the total cost of the finance? So this is where you get your repayment and add the deposit to it. So it's repayment plus deposit. So that's going to be 1,470 plus 5,000. Total repayment, sorry. So it's going to be, sorry, total there. So 88,200 plus 5,000. And that's going to leave us with 93,200. So that would be the total cost. So now if we get the total cost of the finance, 93,200, and minus the original sale price, we will find how much extra the person paid, and that's just how much interest they paid. And when you put that into your calculator, you get an answer of 48,200. So because they paid it over time and they didn't pay it up front, they paid a lot of money in interest. You could buy a whole nother car with this much money, with the money they paid in interest. And so it is better to pay for it up front. However, not everyone has enough money to pay for it up front, and that's why they borrow the time and pay it off in monthly or weekly repayments.